Well, time now for sports. VOA's Sonny talked with three colleagues about recent developments in the National Basketball Association.
Okay, let's talk some basketball. NBA, we're now about 1/4 of the way through the season. And when I look at the standings, some traditional royalty in terms of the teams, not at the top. Is that an aberration or what?
I mean, I think it's a unique season. I mean, there's a lot of changes with the draft. A lot of teams have re-upped and really fought for their new place in this season. I think anything can happen at this point.
Right. Things have changed around. You know, we have some new kids on the block who are rolling the NBA. I think there's been that traditional shift in we're seeing right now in the NBA. I think, you know, the older teams like the LA Lakers, who are traditionally for the last decade been dominating.
They're at the bottom.
They're at the bottom now.
Exactly. I won't be surprised if at the end of the season we find out that this is real change, because the teams, the lowly teams that used to be low, who are leading the conferences now, have taken time to get there.
I mentioned basketball royalty. King James, LeBron James of the Cleveland Cavaliers. As we talk, they've won 8 games in a row. But let's go back to Brooklyn when he met British royalty, Prince William and his wife Kate. Your reaction?
This is royalty meeting royalty, okay? I know there's been talk about him having committed a faux pas by putting the hand of the Duchess of York, but you know, it's King James, he could do whatever he wants.
She was just dwarfed by Kate. He's like, and she's like, so small.
I think it was a good treat, you know. It was a good treat to see the reality of from UK, you know, meeting King James. And if you recall, they were sitting beside Dikembe Mutombo.
That's right. It wasn't all fun and games in Brooklyn. There were protests outside the arena going back to the shooting by white police officers of unarmed black men in both Ferguson as well as, I think, in Staten Island, New York. And LeBron, during the pregame warm-ups, wore an I Can't Breathe T-shirt, and it has since been worn by some of the other big stars in the NBA, like Kobe Bryant,
the whole Lakers team.
Yes.
Actually,
Kevin Durant, I think.
Kevin Durant, you have to give credit to Derrick Rose as well, because he was the first guy to do it. So.
Derrick Rose is the one who started it, and I think it's okay for, you know, sports figures to show their social protests, you know.
Right.
A lot of times people try to separate politics and sports, but really you cannot. No. I mean, these things are all, you know, engaged. So there was nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. Also, you know, it's very important to note that the NBA has decided not to fine these players for wearing that, because they recognize the First Amendment rights of these players, how important their voice is to this very seminal moment in history of.
All right, let's go to the court. Golden State Warriors, I mean, they have to be maybe the surprise team in the NBA right now under new coach Steve Kerr. 18 wins out of their first 20 games.
You know, I will correct you there. Yeah. I wouldn't say they are a surprise team.
Absolutely.
They've been building up. Last season they did very well. This season they are picking up from where they left last season. So it's a team that has been building up. And, of course, the coming of Steve Kerr, the coach.
How much credit do you give Kerr?
I give him a lot of credit, because Golden State team is an exciting team. It's a shooting team. And Steve Kerr, when he played, he was a shooting player.
Well, guys, that's all the time we have for today here in the Sports Box. I'm VOA Sonny thanking Jeremiah, Jackson, and Mwamoyo. See you next time here in the Sports Box.